Welcome back, everybody, to Unconditional Surrender in Europe, game designed by Salvatore Vasta, published by GMT Games. I'm Dren608. If you like my videos, hit that like button. It helps the algorithms in YouTube keep these things up in the search engine for people to find when they're coming to look for videos on Unconditional Surrender. If you really like what you're seeing, hit the subscribe button. Also hit the notifications button, and anytime that I'm uploading another video, you will be notified that it's out there. This is a continuation of the C.U.C.U campaign, Cripple the UK, Collapse the USSR. The Germans have Axis allies, or whatever you want to call them. The entire Axis have managed to do just that. They have taken all of Egypt and Basra. So they have the Middle East and the Near East, or whatever you want to call it, including all the way to Kuwait. And Russia was collapsed in June of 1942. So the Germans have succeeded in their objectives. Now it's a game of how long do we keep going at this? You know, how much more can they get? They also got Spain off immediately off the. They placed a free marker in Madrid, and the only 1-3 chance of them pulling a pro marker, and they did. So that's the way it goes. Anyway, we will move on. It is July, so the weather is fair. We don't have to worry about weather die rolls from the next few turns. I gotta get on the map. Nobody declares war. We do the economies. Germany is at 28. Britain is at 16 because they have 6 down here and 2, so that's 8. So they actually have 16 production points. And oh, the Germans are actually at 30 because they picked up a factory. Why are they at 31? They shouldn't be at 31. This should be at 30. I hate it when we mess up like that. Okay, so now we're into... what are we doing? Did I just... So it's +5. I should be at +2. There we are. +5 to +2 on the strategic warfare. I don't think either one of us had anything to commit at this point. Oh, I did have an Ultra. And he had submarines, so maybe we did go to combat commitment. Yes, we did. And we both committed. He threw out his submarines. I threw out my Ultra. So he rolled a 1 + 5 is a 6, half down to a 3. I rolled a 6 + 2 is an 8, half down to a 4. So, and his submarine comes back in 5, and so does my Ultra. So, we won't see those guys till December of 42. Either one of our stuff. And then he strategically moves the armored unit from the east right there because I'm in a fort, so I don't have a zone of control. So it'll be available for next turn. Don't think I had one. The Soviets went ahead and moved one of their shock armies forward. And so now we're in operations phase. He moves up and takes Corsica because he had declared war on Vichy and he keeps forgetting to move the Italians, so he finally moved him. Not sure what he's doing. Okay, he's moving some Turks. Moves his airplane up. His airplane moves there. To there. 1, 2, 3, 4 airplanes. Moves his armor out. Yugoslavs move up to go back to Russia. Does the same thing with the Romanians. Then he goes after Force H. He's a 7 and I'm a 5. Then he goes with this one at +3 to my +2, so he's a 5. He rolls a 5 and I roll a 7, so... And it's just a matter of time for him to just run me down. He's just got a 2 + 2, 1 + 1. And then this one goes in and finishes me off. Ta-da. I only cost him like 4 sorties or 5 sorties, so not what I was expecting. I was expecting to get both of those airplanes up to 3 sorties each. Still lose him, but if he's at 3 sorties each, that means they're 2 turns before they're fully effective again. So my gambit didn't work. Probably bad math in my head, but 29. I don't know what that was all about. He decided he was in a bad place in Antwerp. And so when he had moved to here, he's like, this was not the place to go. I should have stopped in Antwerp, because he ended up wasting a sortie because he had to fly back. Because he escorted himself in Zone 10 with this convoy. I said, well, okay, that convoy can go. I'm not going to waste home fleet on going through an airplane, right? So... But when he reached Zone 7, he forgot. He's thinking all I can intercept with is home fleet, which is what I do initially. So I'm +2, -4, so I'm net -2, and he's -2 for convoy, +1 for German, and then another -1 for sortie. So he basically ends up at -2. So +2 to -2. I rolled a 6 -2 is a 4, or a 2 -2 is a 1, and he rolled a 6 -2 is a 4, and we're in fair weather, so I actually took 2 sorties from his convoy. He only took 1 sortie. And he's like, ah, look what I did. And then I was like, okay, and now my other interception. He goes, huh? The American 4th Fleet comes after you at +2 to your -3. And he's like, oops. I rolled a 6. He rolled a 1, so he took 3. So that put him up to 4. He should be at 5 sorties. I rolled a 6 and he rolled a 1. Why is he only at 4? He should be at 5. There we are. Okay, and that cost me 1 sortie for the fleet. I was like, that's worth it. And then he attacks with the Spaniards. And the reason why he attacks with the guy from Tangier is this is the only time the guy from Tangiers can attack. If he gets lucky and flips me, then he can try a desperation attack with the single Spanish unit and maybe get a retreat and actually kick me out of Gibraltar with just the Spaniards. Not likely, but he can do it. So he is a 1-2 for isolation, +2 for buddies, -1 for the Gibraltar. So that's 4, 2, 3, 4, -1. He should be +3. I start off at +1. We go to combat commitment because I think he has things that he can throw. He chose not to. I said, oh yeah, I'm throwing the kitchen sink. Tanks, and there's an airplane in there that runs up a sortie to do this as well. So I'm up to +5 to his +3, and he's halved. 3 + 3 is a 1, so he's net. It's 3 + 3 is a 6, halved down to a 3. Sorry. Are we in poor weather down here? No, we're in fair weather everywhere. And then I rolled a 10 and a 3 to a 10. I had a double check, but I believe a 3 to a 10 is an AA. So one of his things, this guy here was the primary, so he got flipped over. And did he do anything else? Adjusted which hex that guy moved into. It does his convoys. Moved his airplane in there because he wants to bring it. I think he's thinking of bringing it to Italy, but it's not going to work. So then I flew this air fighter down here, and I said, let's bang on this fighter. So I'm a 0, and he's a -1. I rolled a 2, he rolled a 1. Okay, so I do it again. I'm a -1 to his -2. I rolled a 1, he rolled a 1. I said, okay, I'll fly north. Bring fighter, second RAF down. Attack him. So then I'm a 1 on his fleet. And I also flew that fighter back up to over here to Belfast. I wanted to be on places where if I put a convoy down, I could actually move the airplane if I had to, for some reason. Plus, I'm also anticipating he was going to try a sea line, so if he takes Gibraltar, you can bring Italian convoys around and then actually do a sea line of some sort. So I need to kind of have everything in reserve so that once he gets ashore, I can try and kick him off. Where are we at? Western actions. I think this is me running my bomber. And I was looking. He didn't have an airplane up north. And the airplane that he used to have here, he moved way down here to here. So right now he has he's missing coverage. So I go ahead and say it's time for the bomb markers to come out, and I just start sailing over here, and I go, you can't touch these. So I run the bomber up and drop 2 bombs in outside his fighter coverage. He's so intent on negating me in the English Channel and whatnot that I can just fly my bomber indiscriminately into Germany. And I think that was it. I really didn't have anything else I could do. I thought about trying to come up with some shenanigans to do an invasion into Tangiers, because that guy's in low supply. But because I had Force H in Plymouth, I can't have this sail over here with a convoy into Plymouth and then take my chances and see if I can get an invasion into Tangiers or whatever. I just didn't do that right. So now we're over to the Soviets. This is all just me moving things forward, saving enough points to do things later. So this is just the Russian army just moving right along. Zing, zing, zing. And then we're to the no supply phase. Nobody takes it. Now he puts this guy in low supply because he wants to get him off that island without transporting him. No supply Western. I decided to take Force H off because I can just rebuild it, faster. And it lets me possibly come up with a way to do things. Replacements for the Axis. Brings down his airplane, his convoy. Airplane, airplane, airplane. And the west. Brought down my 3 airplanes. So I had. Dang it. So that was 9. It left me with 7. And I think I did the bomber and the convoy. Why did I end up with 2? I don't know what I did. Did 13. Should add 4. Anyway, we're into mobilization now because there's no upgrades. He gets his German 20th. Puts him in the west. And Aachen for the west. We put the U.S. task force out there with its convoy, and we put the 1st Canadian in Cardiff. Thought about putting in Western Indian Ocean, and I was like, he seems to be pretty intent here, and if I don't hold Gibraltar, I could be facing a sea lion, and with the British, I only have 11 will points. So it doesn't take much to collapse the British. One army and London and these 4 southern cities, and I'm down. So I have to be able to counter a possible attempt at a sea lion. Yes, he only gets across in one place, but if he gets across and I don't kick him out right away, he could very well collapse England, and I really can't afford that. So, where are we at? Diplomacy Cup. He pulled a political failure? So he pulled the political failure, and rather than trying to activate French North Africa, which is what many people might knee-jerk reaction, let me see if I can get those units. It's only a 1 in 6 chance, because Vichy and Syria are both gone. Okay? So 1 in 6 to get those units, otherwise it's just something that the Axis can just march across. Okay? So rather than do that, we had discussed this before, and then it's like, it's coming true, it's coming true. I went ahead and placed a pro marker in Amsterdam. Either way, I'm trying to get him to 10 for 1944 when the Russians come back in, that he has, an extra +1 against the Russian strategic warfare at the time. But the other thing this does is, if he were to decide to declare war on Amsterdam, there's not the 50-50 chance that it's going to go to Russia. It's going to go to the West, because pro markers take precedence over that last-ditch 50-50 chance to see which side they join on. And who knows, maybe I get lucky and get another political success along the way here over the next year and force him to attack the Netherlands and conquer it. We'll see. And then, since the Russians can't really do anything with a production, right? Is that what I did? This is the United States doing their thing. Okay. I placed that. I put a no event. I checked the cup. I said, okay, it's 50-50. I put 2 no events in there, and then I think I had the Russians pull. I'm not sure what I did there. Did something backwards there. I know I saved 5 for the Russians to do something, but I don't know what it was I did. Oh well, I'm not going to worry about it. We moved on to August of 1942. We're going to do the end of turn phase stuff here. I get Force H and a convoy and an American airplane to build. Soviets always still have stuff to build. We move into August. I finally get some upgrades for the Russians. And, oh yeah, no, I don't pick up anything here. We know what the weather's going to be, so we don't have to do that. And that's the end of that turn. And that's the end of this video, more or less. So that was July of 1942. I have to attempt to hold out in Gibraltar long enough to be able to do something about Tangier. If I can get him out of Tangier, then I'm not isolated, so he doesn't get that extra +2, which makes this a much harder thing to do. But he does have like heavy artillery. He's got his heavy artillery and armored sitting there. He can fly an airplane down to put the airdrop marker on me. So we're talking about me being -2. So my tank will, negate that. So I'd be +1, and then this would be an airplane can make me +3 tops. He can come in with 3. He starts off at 4, 5, 6 for isolation, 7, 8 for the heavy artillery. Probably goes ahead and throws the airplane because I don't think he'll have enough sorties to counter me. But then he can throw an airplane in there too that will probably get through. So he could be up to like 10 -1. He could be a +9 and halved. I would be a +3. +9 and halved. Best he can get is, what, a 7? 8? I think he can get an 8. If I can stay at +3, I can pretty much avoid being eliminated in one turn, but he could flip me, and then the Italians would attack with that same -2, so I have to throw the other tanks there. And another airplane sortie, and then they would be 2, 3, 4. It's got a ground support 5. So 5 -1 +4 and halved. They could possibly pull off another retreat on me, and then poof, Gibraltar's gone. And that pretty much seals the game for the Axis because they don't have to worry at all about the Mediterranean. It's all out on the periphery. There's nothing going on in the heart of Italy, so those counters can all be sent off to do important things, like interdict the American and British fleets that are trying to invade France. Anyway, that was July 1945. As always, I'm Dren608. If you like my videos, hit that like button, the thumbs up button, so that the algorithms in YouTube will keep this up for other people to find. And if you really like them, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notification button so that you'll know when I'm uploading another video on these games. Not only this, but other board games that I've been starting to do. And until we meet again, stay safe and bye-bye.